feel like I am the background. Should I change this shirt? I don't care. I don't care, you don't care. The standards are very low on this channel because this is the low budget shit show. Welcome everybody. Today I'm gonna be honest, also not in my normal room. This is where we are. Today I thought I would try and answer the question, should we all know less about each other? Because sometimes I'm scrolling on the internet, I'm doing my TikTok tummy time scroll and I'm like, it's so interesting that you've posted this on the internet and telling everyone about your deepest, darkest secrets. Do we all need to know this? But I'm entertained. But I'll be honest, the most unhinged, crazy, batshit insane stories I've ever heard in my life, I've heard from the internet for the most part. So today I thought we're gonna lean in, we're gonna find people's confessions, their embarrassing stories, their unhinged stories, and hopefully have a laugh. And all of that is possible because of my upper tier patrons who keep this channel going. This group of people are the reason that we can make these videos. Truly, without Patreon, none of this is possible. It's just not feasible. So I owe my life to all of these people. I would have a beer with every single one of you, assuming you're old enough to drink. I'd have a coffee. I'd have a beverage of some description with each and every one of you. If you want to become a patron, you can get access to bonus content. I've just filmed the part 2 of ranking lesbian stereotypes video. This video that I uploaded recently, I've done a part 2. So there's a whole nother one of those available for patrons only. It's a good time over there. Come join if that interests you. And depending on what tier you choose, you can get 20% off my clothing brand Riff Supply Co, which is where you can get a bunch of hats, hoodies, tees, X, Y, and Z, everything you're looking at, riffsupplyco.com, and you can get a discount with Patreon membership. So head to patreon.com/BrienneWorth, support the channel, and honestly, the more of you that are over there, the less I have to repeat this every single video. I would love not to. All right, let's jump in and see what the internet is doing, which is it's a dangerous question to ask.
I'm telling y'all all the things that could get me canceled if I ever got famous, just in case I get famous.
It's good to future-proof your digital footprint sometimes. I can respect that.
I'm not gonna get famous, but I'm gonna pre-cancel myself.
Pre-canceling yourself, explain that to a Victorian child. Explain that to someone from the 1950s even. Explain that to a boomer. Because that is crazy.
Try to make 2 homeless people fight over a Twinkie.
Oh, that's pretty up there.
Whoever won got the Twinkie.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
One time in the cafeteria, I told my best friend I was gonna smack her. I can't remember why. And she told me you won't. And that's my favorite word because now I want to. So I smacked her. But I didn't smack her hard. And it was really mean. When I was in 1st grade, I stole this girl's chapstick. And she asked me where it was. And it was in my pocket the whole time. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That one's fine. We'll overlook the last one. Chapstick's fine.
I accidentally fell asleep during my godfather's funeral.
Ooh.
The funeral was in a Catholic church. Catholic churches are really strict. And I was falling asleep, and I slept through the whole church part, and then through the burial part when we went to the actual cemetery, I stayed in the car and went to sleep. Like,
funerals aren't that long. Catholic churches are somewhere you would sleep though. I went to a Catholic school in all of my years of schooling. It's somewhere you would fall asleep. It's a very deeply boring place. And that's all I'll say.
It wasn't my fault though. I was on medication. My mom gave me the wrong pills.
Okay, so her mom accidentally drugged her. That's a bit of the story that we needed.
I was in church like this. I'm sorry, long live you. When I was like 10, this guy
long live you. What? What do you mean, man?
Riding his motorcycle through the neighborhood, and then he crashed it in front of me, and I laughed really loud.
I'm seeing why she needed to pre-cancel herself, because although she looks young.
I used to argue with the autistic kids in my class.
Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're not even touching. I see. That's all I see what she's done there.
Put a finger down if you've ever gotten so drunk at a party trying to get over an ex that you end up getting with some guy at the party that you don't fancy whatsoever, and then in an attempt to escape him, you run into the other room to find that all your friends have left you there, thinking that you've already gone home, but you're so fucked you're not going to be able to go home yourself, so you now have to stay at this guy's house. And then you wake up the next day, relieved that you're both fully dressed, go into the kitchen, have a glass of water, and do what you think is a little fart, but actually it's a massive shart, which goes all through your knickers and your tights and onto the kitchen floor. Then in a fit of panic, you strip off your knickers and your tights, jump into the shower, come out, kind of relieved, and then you realise that the whole flat is steamed up and smells like poo. So you have to quickly put your knickers and your tights into a bag, clean up the shit in the kitchen floor, then go into the bedroom eager to book a taxi and get the fuck out of there. And you realise that your phone has died and the only number that you know of by heart is your father's. So you have to call your dad, tell him that you're at some random guy's house with shitty knickers and can he please come rescue you.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, I didn't know that's where this video was going. I should have known, but I didn't. But I didn't. I didn't know. That's, that one's up there. Hey, that's up there. Should we know less about each other? Why would you tell people this on purpose? I'm glad she has, because otherwise we wouldn't be here enjoying it. But like, why are we offering up this information? You couldn't waterboard this out of me. If the CIA had a gun to my head, I wouldn't tell them. Actually, yeah, I definitely would. 2.5 beers, I'll tell that story to anyone that wants to hear it. Okay, this trend with the 5 seconds of summer in the background is partially where I got this idea from, because there are so many stories that I'm like, do these need to be on the internet? I don't know. Who knows? You're so funny, thanks. When I was 5 years old, I convinced myself I was the mastermind behind 9/11. We're composing ourselves. I confessed to anyone that would listen. I begged my parents to turn me into the police. Okay, and I've been medicated ever since. Okay, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. You know how everyone in the comments of TikToks are like, oh, I've never had an original experience. I think this might be an original experience. I don't know that I'm not sure that anyone's experienced this before. Okay, this audio is creepy and I can't listen to it. I literally love this sound so much because it reminds me of all the nutty women in my family. Do tell. This lovely woman went insane and tried to off herself while pregnant, was institutionalized until she gave birth, and then the day she was released, stabbed herself to death at 36. Okay. Why is she kind of, like is that a motorbike? She's kind of hot. She's, whoever's grandma this is, kind of hot. Her entire family referred to her as beautiful but insane. I can see that. I can see that for her. Got mad at my grandpa over a mess in the kitchen and with a smile told him she'd ruin his life. Okay, I'm getting more sinister. Sang my grandpa his favorite song, What a Wonderful World, and shot herself in front of him mid-chorus. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is... Wow. Left her suicide note backwards on the fridge so he would be suspected of murder. I don't know how that works. Backwards on the fridge, like turned over on, why would that make him a murder suspect? Anyway, there's more slides, believe it or not. This one is affectionately dubbed Crazy Aunt Barb, which I love. Spent the majority of her life institutionalized. Okay, there's a trend here. There's a trend. Every single time I spoke to her, she spent the entire time complaining about how crazy my grandma was. On her mum's, it seems to run in the family, babe. On her mum's birthday, one year, she covered all her windows and vents and smoked back-to-back cigarettes until she gave herself carbon monoxide poisoning. Oh my god. Woke up from her coma to scream, "Let me die," in the nurse's face. You know, sometimes I just think some people's genetics shouldn't be passed on. All the love in the world to whoever's posting this, but my god. This one's favorite hobby was making men fall in love with her. Even granddad's best friends. Okay, and look, is it a crime to have hobbies? I actually stole my granddad from another woman, her friend. Okay, it's a bit dog. It's a bit dog, I'll be honest. Shook her mum's corpse till her head fell apart in front of the entire funeral. Once again, this video has taken a path I didn't anticipate for us to be going down today. Had nude paintings done of herself and then hung them in the living areas of her house. Honestly iconic. Honestly a bit of a slay. Kind of obsessed. Got in a disagreement with my granddad, told him he'd regret it. Went to a hotel room and OD'd on antipsychotics, okay? Again, it's a firm trend at this point. This is genetic. This is a genetic issue. And this one wrote her suicide note in a hotel Bible. So that's good. And there's more. And there's more. Swears she broke the generational curse and is mentally okay. Cool, let's see if that actually happened. Habit of hitting exes with cars, so I'd say maybe the curse is not broken. Habit of throwing knives at siblings. Paid 2 of her siblings to change their names and move across the country so she could pretend they don't exist. That is, and did they agree? because in this family it wouldn't shock me. Raised me and I'm a literal nutcase, and then the last one is a ginger. God forbid. The comments and like her reply, this person's replies to the comments are no better. It's not shedding any light on the situation. Someone asked, is your grandpa okay? And she said, nah, my uncle murdered him. So is it just the women in your family, or is it the whole family? Someone said some of these are kind of iconic, and I think that speaks volumes about my own well-being. There's something to be said for that, yes. And the original poster said, Eva ruining that song for my grandpa on her exit was 10 out of 10. Like, what a way to go out. I think we can all agree. All of us here today, we can all agree it's quite an exit. It really is. Singing What a Wonderful World and then shooting yourself at the end of it, and that song being your husband's favorite song I mean, obviously she's not mentally stable. That we can see. It's an iconic exit. Is it a good one? It's a statement, that's all I'll say. She also did it in front of one of his favorite baseball pics on the wall, so till he died there was her brain splatter on it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, this next comment, ho, you okay? That's exactly how I feel. Another person said, girl, me too, that's why I don't have kids. My family has a very similar history. And she replied again and said, it's why my siblings don't have kids as well. Okay, that's honestly, I think that's, for what my 2 cents is worth, probably the best outcome. She goes on to say, I do because I had a baby at 16 while manic, but I put him in therapy as soon as he could talk. Okay. Man, this is not where I thought this video was gonna go. I'd almost prefer more shit stories, you know? You're so funny. Thanks. When I was 8, I had a math tutor and we would do one problem and then talk the rest of the time, and I later found out it was a therapist. Is she the child of the girl from the last story perchance? I don't know. Props to the therapist for like doing calculus, or at least a bit of long division before having to do her actual job. Are you allowed to do that? As a therapist, are you allowed to lie to your client if they're a child? I don't know. You're so funny. Thanks. One of my patients was a terrorist that came in for a nose job so they could change their identity, and we didn't know until the FBI showed up to the office. Man, that's a good f***ing story. You're so funny. Thanks. My dad and my sister made my other sister. Oh my god. In reading that, I didn't even look at the photo, which is really rounding this out to be something quite interesting and beautiful. I hope the dad is in jail. I don't know what I hope. I don't know what I hope.
Hi, join me as I...
Crash out with me. Man, if I ever crash out, just know I will be doing one of these.
Hi, join me as I chipotle on my floor. Because today really sucked. I didn't cry at work though. Okay, actually I did cry a little bit at work, but only 2 tears, and they just streamed out really quietly. Very kind of them to include free Kleenexes.
I think that's what that is.
But you know, they have many uses.
Oh, girl.
Sometimes I feel like a hunter-gatherer because I just search around for the chicken.
That is what hunting and gathering was like for our ancestors too, I bet.
Lettuce is crispy and fresh, unlike my soul, which is slowly dying.
I was gonna say that's a good thing. We're looking for positives, but the soul is slowly dying. It's a bit of a dip off the other end.
My therapist will be proud of me. Go to therapy. They have to be your friend. You're paying them.
Exactly.
How does it feel to be happy? I don't know, but I used to know.
And you'll know again. And that's the thing. You'll always know again.
I'll know again.
Oh my god.
Control.
Go. Oh my god.
Others, and we cannot control situations, but we can control ourselves. It's gonna be a rough couple weeks, boys and girls and days.
An inclusive crash out. We love to see it. There's actually an update to this crash out.
My mental breakdown went so viral, my therapist saw it on her
Was
For
she
You page.
proud?
And guess what? She is proud of me.
She is.
I used to work as a...
Good. Great outcome. And you know what? Far less tears in this one. Still eating on the floor. This time we've got a candle. Wins all around.
My therapist and I have talked a lot about how I feel like an inconvenience. When bad things happen, I don't want to call my friends and inconvenience them. Friendship is inconvenient. Be the burden? You be that burden. Be the burden.
Be the burden. Be a burden. Yeah, a good reframing of being a burden is like you're just community building. Returning the favors is part of the community building as well. So don't forget that part. But you're not being a burden. You're not being inconvenient. You're just fostering community. You can take that one with you.
Today I got called the crying Chipotle girl. That's who I am now.
I wouldn't even be mad at that title. I could never have it. I would never cry on the internet. Also, we don't have Chipotle. Can't even say it. Okay, we could watch the rest, but I think we're at a happy ending now, and we're gonna leave this one where it is. Oh my god, these videos. These videos are the single most oh my god, we must. This was really popping off probably like a month ago. We're a bit late, but anyway. And it's this photo of this thing with like a prayer, but like a choir cover playing in the background. For the first one, we'll play the music. When I was 18, I decided to get a helix piercing. I can't concentrate. When I was 18, I decided to get a helix piercing without telling my parents. I hid it successfully for 3 days. On the third day, I was eating dinner with my family and turned to look at the TV. All of a sudden, I hear, "Is that a piercing?" from my dad. Before I could react, he stood up and smashed a plate on the ground. Bit of an overreaction. While yelling at me that he's gonna rip it out of my ear, my mum silently got up and walked into the kitchen. I braced myself in preparation of getting hit. All of a sudden, there was a liquid on my face. I opened my eyes. My mum had stabbed my dad in the shoulder. Is not what I thought I was about to read. It's not what I thought I was about to read. In a true I don't know what to do fashion, I made a TikTok about the situation. It went viral. So is this one. An hour later, my dad called my mum from the ER and said he was gonna make up a story about how they were joking around while doing the dishes and it was an accident. Accidentally got stabbed in the shoulder. In a true deadpan voice, my mum said, "No, tell them the truth, I can handle jail." Oh my god. This reaction from the mother leads me to think she's like a badass who I never want to get on the wrong side of. Stabbing the dad in the shoulder leads me to believe there are other problems in the home. Long story short, I am fine. My dad is okay too, and a big chunk of TikTok still thinks my mum is a badass for defending me like that. Truly stood on business. Yeah, I guess so. Do I think stabbing people is like a touch too far? Yes, I do also think that. It is also a belief I have. One day after dating a guy I really liked for 3 weeks, I saw a wedding dress on sale for $100. Where is this going? This is going somewhere fantastic. I bought it because I'm insane. Good to preface, and also because I thought, well, hell, if it works out, this will be such a cute story, and if it doesn't, I'll never tell anyone. But why would you do that to begin with? You know what? We listen and we don't judge. The next week, he invited me to his brother's wedding across the country. Great sign. The next week at dinner, he said, "I told my mum about the dress." And I said, "What?" He said, the dress online you bought. And I said, "How do you know about that?" And he said, "You told me." I stared in shock. "I didn't tell you about that," I whispered. He just smiled and said, "Don't worry, I think it's cute." I'm still confused at how he knows. Did I tell him and then fall and hit my head and don't remember? So I say, "You don't think I'm insane?" And he said, "Why would I think that?" To which I reply, "Because buying a wedding dress after dating someone for 3 weeks is a little nuts." His smile faded, eyes wide. "You bought a wedding dress?" You see, I had forgotten something. I'd forgotten I bought this dress for his brother's wedding online, a dress with sparrows on it, which I told him about, which is what he told his mum because she loved sparrows and thought it was a cute coincidence. So that's good. This can either go one of two ways. Either they are married now and are still married, or he ran for the hills. I froze, looking for the nearest sharp object to impale myself on and end my humiliation. And he said, with a great bellow of laughter, "Oh my god, this is so embarrassing for you." And it is. That's the thing, it is. And then he leaned back, arm over the back of the booth, and flashed me a wicked half grin and said, "I don't think I've ever been more flattered." Okay, so we took it well. So that's good, because you could take this really bad. And now we're married. Happy ending. Okay, this is a win-win-win. And there's a cute photo of them. Hell yeah, Casey. Another, but I need to know. When I was younger, I had really, really heavy periods that would last over a week. I would normally avoid going out on the first day because I would have to change my pad at least twice an hour. The joys of periods. One morning my period starts unexpectedly and I had a driving lesson booked for 10 AM. I couldn't cancel because it was in an hour and he would charge me for the lesson. I thought, surely I'll be fine. It's just a 2-hour lesson. What's the worst that could happen? Famous last words. I double up on my pads and wear a thick pair of trousers to avoid any leaking. I've been driving for an hour now and I feel fine. No signs of leaking. The lesson is going well. I'm happy, and then all of a sudden I let off the biggest sneeze of my life. No. Oh no. I feel the blood shoot out of me like Niagara Falls. Yeah, you did. I'm a fairly new driver, so I'm trying to keep calm, but I have 100% leaked all over this man's car. We get to the end of the lesson and he's talking over everything, but all I can think about is the puddle of blood that is underneath me. How do you wiggle out of this situation? He gets up so he can get into the driver's seat. I'd reverse over myself with the car somehow. I get up and look back to see a huge patch of blood on the seat. He's walking towards me and I'm too embarrassed to say anything, so I just say bye and walk to my house. I'm walking as fast as I can. He's currently sitting in my blood and I need to get inside before he realizes. Then he calls my name and my heart drops. I don't want to turn around, so I keep walking faster. I hear him coming behind me. I forgot my water bottle. Okay. He turns around to walk back to the car and he had a huge stain of my blood on his trousers. Okay, that's f***ed. That's f***ed. I run inside absolutely mortified. Fair enough. A few days go by and he's asked me when I want my next lesson. I tell him I've lost my job and I can't afford to pay for them anymore. He offers me discounts and I have to politely decline. I get a new instructor and eventually my old one stops messaging me. Months go by and I pass my test. Life is good. So what goes wrong? What am I about to read? One day I see a news report online about a driving instructor that was unaliving his students. I started reading and I realized this is pretty close to where I live. I scroll down to see what he looks like and completely freeze when I see his face. It's my old driving instructor. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. I stare at the screen in complete shock. My periods have been a burden for most of my life and here I am alive and well because I was too embarrassed to see him again. Well, thank God for periods, turns out. This is burnt toast theory personified in a really weird roundabout way. So he probably didn't say anything about the blood because maybe he thought it was from one of his victims? Or did he know it was, oh man, I can't even think about that. Is the blood how he got caught? I've got so many questions, hold on. Apparently his name is Richard Joseph Banks. Oh my God. Oh, I am not even gonna repeat everything I just read, but moving on. That one time I was on a romantic date with a guy and decided to let out a very small toot. I feel like this never ends well. I shift in my seat and realize it felt a little warm down there. Here we go. I do the sniff test and realize I've shit my pants. Okay, okay. I say out loud, I just shit my pants. And the guy laughs, thinking I'm joking and says, no, you didn't. I said, no, I really just shit my pants. Why is she offering up this information? Is this like someone you've been seeing for a while or is this like first date vibes? Because this is wild. Mind you, I'm wearing a one-piece camo jumpsuit. Okay, so that's worse. The shit is trapped at the bottom of the jumpsuit. The shit is trapped at the bottom of the jumpsuit. Okay. I then jump out of the car and rip the jumpsuit off my body only down to my skivvies. I start freaking out and can't stop saying I just shit my pants because I'm in such disbelief. Well, at least you know it doesn't happen often then. I wrapped myself in a blanket and I was cry laughing because I didn't really know how to feel. The guy was trying to hold it together and being super respectful, but he couldn't stop laughing with me. He said it wasn't a big deal, but like it was. We raced back to my home and I jump in the shower only to hop out and shit on the shower mat. I could not stop shitting and and I was so concerned because I felt completely fine. That is very weird. To this day, I don't really get why I couldn't stop shitting, but said guy and I are now engaged and celebrating 6 years this month. That would, you know what, that would bring you closer together as a couple, one would imagine. Or it could just drive a huge wedge between you, depends on the person. Obviously this worked out well for her. Age-old advice, never trust a fart. Don't ever trust a fart, you never know. Okay, I've seen this one and it bears repeating. So walk with me on this journey. I'm 3 days into a 4-day hike. I did not train for this. The only thing I walk is to the mailbox. We're in the wilderness, deep in the bush. I've been walking for 7 hours, which is crazy. I'm made of blisters, nicotine cravings, and my mother's disappointment. My mother insists we take a 90-minute detour to a waterfall. There's a small shelter where we can leave our packs. It has a power outlet. I tell my family to go ahead while I rest. I charge my vape. Sweet, sweet relief. which like, where are we as a society that A, a power outlet is on a hike, B, that's an exciting thing, and C, you're using it to charge a vape. Just smoke cigarette. Actually, no, don't. I'm the last to leave. I pass everyone on their way back from the waterfall. It's just me and my vape in the trees. I am one with the rain. I am Mother Earth. I reach the waterfall, drenched and exhausted, but she is glorious. Everyone has already been and gone. It's just me and the largest waterfall in the southern hemisphere. I climb over the rocks to get right underneath her. It's getting dark and I'm soaking wet, but I don't care. Bathed in her glory, I take a hit of my vape. I love this story. I breathe in a wet, bitter lump. Coughing and with zero survival instincts, I take another puff to check, which is like so many parts of this story. I'm like, why? But that part in particular, if you put a vape to your mouth and it was like clumpy and wet and bitter, I wouldn't be putting it back in my mouth, but that's just me. Another wet glob goes into my lungs. The vape is covered in a white paste. It's on my hands, it's in my mouth. I check my pocket where my vape was and it too is coated in white. My hands close around an empty tube with its lid off. And I'm gonna give you 15 seconds or so to guess what was in the tube because I never in a million years would have, I never would have guessed what was in the tube. So right, pause the video, write your comments, get back to me. There was a 3-month supply of lorazepam in that tube, which is not a good thing to eat directly in a big hit, inhaling it essentially when you're 7 hours into a hike, let alone a 3-month supply. Oh my God. I just inhaled 3 months worth of lorazepam. That's in the wilderness, soaking wet, alone. I'm 45 minutes from the empty shelter, 2 hours from the nearest hut, 3 days from civilization. I have minutes before it kicks in. I run. There's no time to hop over the rocks. I'm swimming in the water, crawling up the bank, sprinting into the woods. I am flying. I reach the shelter in 5 minutes and keep running. I'm sobbing. I'm about to die because of a vape. Miraculously, I stumbled across rangers and begged for their help. My pupils are huge. My lips are coated in white and I'm rambling. They send out a search party to find my mum, debating on whether I need to be airlifted out. I'm taken to the rich people hut because it's closer. I'm carried past a Pilates class in the forest. I wonder if it's real. I wish this happened to me. Do I? I wish I witnessed this happening in person. I'm made to vomit and kept in a staff room so the rich people aren't disturbed by the drowned woman off her rocker. No one believed my story. My mother was furious and wanted me to go to therapy. That is objectively hilarious. They all think I tried to unalive myself, which, you know what, given the circumstances, you could be forgiven for thinking that. What a fucking story. There's 35 slides in that story and every one of them is just a treat. My question is, why did she bring her 3-month prescription of lorazepam into the, like on the hike? 3 days from civilization. Why is she bringing a vape on a hike? Would be my question second to that. Their writing style, it just brings you on a journey. The music in the background, can't beat it. You're so funny. Thanks, my dad shot me when I was 17. We've gone up the roller coaster and we just lorazepam mountain, watching rich people do Pilates. My dad shot me. Oh my God, there's a lot.
Put a finger down if your sister had a baby a few weeks ago and so the little brown umbilical cord thingy fell out and it was missing, they didn't know where it went. And then yesterday you were sitting eating your salad on like a little chair and then some of your salad fell onto the seat and so you just picked it up, popped it into your mouth and you thought one of the croutons looked a little dark brown and then you realized it was really hard when you put it in your mouth and so you spit it out and it was the missing umbilical cord. Put a finger down if your sister...
Maybe we do all know too much about each other. Maybe that's where we've concluded this video. Because that's I would have just taken that one to my grave, I reckon. There's no way. That wouldn't come out of my mouth ever again, let alone on the internet. Again, you know what? 2 beers, I'd tell whoever, who cares? But not on the internet.
So I was on a school trip. I knew I had to go to the bathroom. I told...
Another shit story. We got another... Last shit story, please.
The driver and the teacher, and they said, yeah, we'll pull over. It took them too long. We hit a bump. I just shit. It came out. And I was so petrified, I obviously started crying. Right. How much poop was it? It was a lot of poop. Oh. It wasn't
It was a weekend trip's worth of shit. This was no shart, Rainey. This was the whole enchilada.
Oh,
so
God.
Eventually? How? This is code red. You gotta pull the thing.
What do you even do at that point?
Emergency stop.
I hid under a blanket, tried to spray some perfume. Everybody's like, yeah, it really smells in here. That's so weird. We, like, whatever. And I was like, yeah, haha.
How do you hide that? How do you hide that? How could you? They're gonna know where the smell's emanating from.
Oh, so bad. I'm wearing sweatpants that like cinch at the bottom.
No.
So,
oh no. Why are you telling us this? Why are you putting this out there? Why?
For free too. She's telling us for free.
right now.
Is this gonna help your healing?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay.
It's helping right now. So when I got out of the bus, the poop is just going down my legs and collecting at the cinch. Like, I'm just gonna be honest.
I guess that's good.
Yeah, at least it wasn't falling out. So then I had to go into the bathroom.
Silver linings. At least it wasn't falling out of her pants. Like, lucky she did have the cinched pants on the bottom. I don't know how much more of this I can hear.
Gas station and take off like my pants and clean up poop everywhere and throw away my pants in the gas station bathroom and change and return like nothing had happened. And I still to this day don't know. Who knows?
They're probably being polite, because wouldn't you notice if this whole vehicle stank like shit and then this person comes back with new pants on? Wouldn't you know? You know what? It is what it is.
How's your day going? Because mine's just great. Basically, we just had a delivery at the door, and so I went and got it. And also the delivery man said, I hope you don't mind, but your next neighbour's not in. Would you mind taking next doors? And I said, no problem, that's absolutely fine. A matter of minutes later, my next door neighbour comes and knocks on the door. And they're usually very chatty.
I don't even know what this story is about, but I love her tone. How she talks is just very like scratching an itch in my brain.
They're usually very chatty, very nice, but today it was almost verging on rude, and I thought, what have I done? They just grabbed the package and went. Then I walked back in the house and I realised that my tit was hanging out. My tit was out. I've been feeding the baby, my tit was out. Then I phoned my husband at work. I thought, oh my God, babe, I'm mortified. He said, you answered the door with your tit out, didn't you? I was like, how did you know that? He said, well, I've just got the delivery note from DPD, and in the top corner of the photo, your tit is hanging out. I hope you're well fed. I hope you enjoyed your meal. Basically, we just had
God. I love this video. I love this video. I'm severely enjoying myself. You're so funny. Thanks. When we were kids, my mum would randomly turn off the main switch at night and chase us around wearing nothing but a diaper with all her false teeth removed as a way to discipline us and convince us that her alter ego, Poppy, was real. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna wrap the video up there. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. That is something. That is something. What a fucking ride. What a ride we've been on. If you have any more of these, if you see any videos like these on TikTok, tag me in it. My handle is @BrianneWorth. Also, go follow me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I don't really, it's all Brianne Worth. Wow, that was something. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're still watching, give the video a like, leave a comment. It helps out a ton. It really just helps the channel out. Helps me keep making these, having a laugh with you guys. My battery's about to die, so I'm just gonna leave. A farewell.